In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
Footballers, it's party time right now. Don't forget, it's right now. We've got Nick Galatas. We've got a lot of people on tonight around the world. Hup, check it out. Hup, feel it. Hup, here we go. Check it out. Let's be positive, guys. We've got something happening really good and a few little things we're going to talk about later on. Here we go. Hup, feel it. Hup, check it out. Hey! The cup of life. This is the one. Now is the time. Don't ever stop. We should've known, gotta be strong. We should've known, right from the top. And when you feel the heat, the world is at your feet, Carlos. The days here, you're gonna get it with some cards. I see it in your eyes, you want the cup of life. Not the days here, you're gonna get it, Nick. Angelo, what's it like in Italy? Is the World Cup coming to Italy? Let's party right now! We are the people, we are the passion. Boy, we're going to be history tonight. It's fantastic. We're going back to the old days. It's going to happen. We got Nick here right now. It's always worth saying it's our way, the highway, and that's what's going to happen, guys. Welcome right now, of course, guys, the AAFC chairman, Mr. Nick Galatas. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. And of course, Carlos Bielli, and of course, from Italy, all the way from Italy. Yes, James Bond from Italy, exactly the James Bond lookalike. Yes, of course. And Carlos, he looks like a judge. You look like a magistrate tonight, Carlos. I better say, imagine the magistrate, Carlos. There you go, guys. The lone stranger, the lone strangler. No, the lone stranger. I've got to get in. Here we go again, guys. I tell you what.
Well, I thought.
Go on. Tell me.
I thought you called me the thought you called me the executioner.
No, well, you might as well be the mate. Look at the way he looks like, gentlemen. Now, Nick, you would have dealt with guys like this in court. Of course, he looks like a magistrate, doesn't he?
Harry, you've scared me now because
sorry.
I've appeared before many magistrates that look like Carlos, and now I'm worried.
No. He calls himself the executioner of football. There you go. What can we say?
Actually. Look, I'm not diverting a little bit, but I applied for many magistrates jobs.
Wow!
And I'm glad I did. I didn't get the job.
Oh my God!
And I'm glad the weekend detention has gone out of the window because I would have sent all the young punks who did not obey the traffic rules to weekend detention from Friday 4 o'clock till Monday 9 a.m. like we used to do in New South Wales, weekend detention. So,
oh my God,
because you keep your license, keep your job. You don't have a license now. Spend 3 months doing weekend detention at a long bay. You see what it's like.
Oh my God,
but
Carlos.
we don't have weekend.
Oh my God, Carlos.
We don't have weekend detention anymore. But if I had it and I was a magistrate, I'd be sending all these young hoons who just do wheelies to weekend detention, one after the other.
Please, Carlos.
Anyway,
let me tell you, before you were gone, Carlos, just get red cards and yellow cards in court, mate. Just use them, mate. They're easy to use in court, mate. Now, Nick, we're going to talk about, of course, we're getting away from the comedy stuff of it right now. Mate, the Australian Championship is starting on the 10th between South Melbourne and Sydney Olympic, and then, of course, on the 11th.
Olympic.
Here we started. Here you go, mate. There you go. And, of course, Carlos will be wearing his Sydney Olympic outfit. I can imagine what's going to happen down here when he comes and sees the game. And, of course, we've got the new boys on the block. Of course, we're talking about Avondale FC and, of course, down at Preston there. They'll be playing at Preston the next day. So, mate, all things blazing, guns blazing. Nick, what do you reckon?
Well, it's all happening, as you know. It's all been announced. They put the trophy out there in the recent game between South and Preston in Melbourne, and also in Sydney. I saw it being displayed. The trophy. So, look, there's a bit of buzz. I mean, I'd like to see it more. Obviously, you and I, we all know it's sort of, stuff happening, and the players are basically getting more clubs involved.
Yes.
I'm not going to be saying too much about that tonight. There might be some developments, but focusing on what's coming, and that is this year's comp. It'll be interesting to see how it develops. I mean, FA this has been its preferred way of starting. as you know, and as I've said to all the listeners here before, it wasn't the clubs' preferred way to start. It certainly wasn't mine, but not for me to say, but it wasn't the clubs' preferred way to start. They wanted to go into a national championship. We had lots of clubs that were put their hand up, as you know, for the expression of interest and subsequently the request for proposal. And for whatever reason, and many reasons, we only ended up with the 8. And we've got this model, but this was meant to be the launching pad, so let's hope it launches and launches well.
Fantastic. So the thing is I think we've still got to find out what the clubs that are playing, of course, in Sydney. We know who the clubs are in Sydney, so we're hoping that they start. I think they're starting the same weekend. We still don't know what's going on. But at least it's a start, Nick. It's a start. And that's the main thing. We're starting something for the future, hopefully.
That's right. Well, that's right. Look, exactly, Harry. It is that's true. We didn't have. This wasn't on the agenda, as we've said many times, time and again on every interview. It wasn't part of the discussion back in 2017, 2018, where we kick-started this process. It now is on the agenda. There has been excitement among the fans. And what we'd like to see, certainly the clubs would like to see, is everyone embrace the opportunity so that many clubs see what's possible. And we expand the club footprint in this country. That's what we're missing. I mean, how many times do we have to say it? We celebrate it everywhere else around the world. We celebrate all these clubs that come through and, promote themselves and get up. I mean, we've just had Wrexham here.
Yes.
The whole Wrexham promotion story. And I heard on the radio, and this just reminded me as I'm coming for it, but there was actually Carolyn Carnegie of Melbourne Victory, CEO, was on ABC radio a couple of months ago, maybe now. And she was talking about all things Melbourne Victory, and one of the discussion points in the morning show on the ABC in Melbourne here was Wrexham's game with Melbourne Victory. And she spoke, and I think totally unconsciously, self-consciously, I should say, about the whole story that Wrexham brought. And I just found the irony dripping that here was Melbourne Victory that was the opposite to that story. Here we have a system where the Wrexham story isn't possible, but we are celebrating the Wrexham story. And I just think, why can't we just join the dots? Right? And I don't mean overnight necessarily, but I mean, why can't we commence joining the dots? And if this competition that starts on Monday, in October, Monday next, let us say, comes
10th of October.
I've got a bad cold, as you can probably hear in my voice, Harry, so I apologise for my fault.
That's okay, no problem.
If this competition serves as the first step along the way to the possibility of a story like the Wrexham and like Crystal Palace and like the town that came up for the Indians and like everyone else under the sun, the Sunderland stories, the whole Netflix series, to like the Premier League now. And my team, Leeds United, up and down, they're going to kill me again this year. If we've got those stories that are possible, and it's just England, we're not even touching on all the other countries around the world that have it. Of course, I follow the Greek league, the Italian league, the German league. So, we've got myriad possibilities, not at the same level, but in the same style. And I think we'll get so many more fans engaged in the game on that level. But we just need a bit of courage. And I'm worried that it's lacking where it's supposed to, where we need it most. Yeah. But let's hope we can create it.
Angelo, bring Angelo on first.
Yeah, Nick, welcome back. Obviously, it's not easy to talk about this concept. It's probably a lot easier for us, people like football lovers and critics, to talk about it, because although we don't have a lot of information, we are very hopeful that when this competition takes off, that it takes off in the right format. For example, my concern has always been the financial sustainability, the long-standing viability of the clubs that are going into this competition. Like with an expenditure that's costs that are unknown to us. Maybe they are known to them. Obviously, they should have the criteria. But the worrying part is, like the budget of each of those clubs that commence this competition, and what have they got to fall back on? Do they have enough money then to go on with the local competitions, the NPL? And the other thing is the crowd. That really worries me, because if we're going to start something new in Australia, okay, we need to make sure that it is something good, something that creates attention, and something that's going to ride the positive wave. Because, the critics and the journalists and media, which is absolutely absent, Nick, you know that yourself, they're waiting for something to fail and then sensationalise it. That's really the world that we live in Australia. I mean, I live in Italy, but I'm very close to a lot of people. And that is my concern, Nick. I don't expect you to say anything negative. I don't expect you, because you're in the middle of things, but we are the football lovers and we are the critics, and that's my concerns.
Angela, look, Angela, we all valid and all fair enough. We've dealt with them. We've known about these things. Everyone knows they're just a football person's obvious points, with due respect. But there's a simple response to all of that, and that is that, okay, let's do nothing. I mean, so these are all valid and they will never go away. And it's a bit like anything you do in life. Before you start, there's going to be those concerns. Whether you embark on an overseas trip as a teenager, there's all these things that can happen. As a parent, you'll sit there and say, all these things can go wrong, and they can. There's anything can go wrong about anything. And all these things that you said could go wrong. Okay? But, someone said it the other day, there's a risk. There's risks in going forward, but there's risks in doing nothing. But I think the biggest problem that we face in this country, we just worry about all the things that might go wrong. I'm not saying things aren't going to go wrong.
Let's move on.
Go wrong.
Let's move on. Exactly.
But we just got to take some steps. The one thing to remember is that these clubs that have put their hand up, and many other clubs that were putting their hand up along the process, have been through a lot in this country.
Oh, yes.
Right? And you know how difficult it is for the game to thrive in Australia, with all the codes and the opposition and the things that you've said before, and the journos and the expectations and the negativity, and yet these clubs are still there. Now, surely that track record says give them a go. They're not going to disappear. They're community-based, they're membership-based clubs. They're not privately owned. They're not going to get wound up. They're going to survive. And if it doesn't work and it all, turns to, we won't say what, well, okay, we'll go back to what we've got, but we haven't lost much or anything. We just got to give something a go. We're going to try and do it. Otherwise, we'll be here having this conversation in 5 years, in 10 years. We'll be wondering what would happen if we put our toe in the water. At some point, we've got to do it. At some point, we've got to put it out, and you've got to give it a go. And the backing, or the safeguard that I've been trying to get at for so many years from the first way to everyone else is, don't do what you can do what you can do. If you set an unrealistic bar or an artificial bar and you say, here is the bar, here is the level that we want to reach, well, that's wonderful, but we might not be there. And we still that with the A-League. Look at the A-League now compared to when it started. What's happened is the A-League has slowly retreated to where this country's at in the game. To return it back to where support base really is, it will take more or less. It wasn't going to be a 20 or 30 or 40,000 person support base in big stadiums and massive broadcast deals. That might have been a wonderful hope or a dream. It's just not true. It's not available. It's not the truth of the Australian game. And that's not a bad thing. It's just is what it is. We've just got to stop worrying about what we're not. Okay? Yeah, let's be what we are. Let's not be disappointed in what we are. Let's just be what we are.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think we are less than what we can be because we refuse to allow, or we've restricted the clubs that want to aspire and get somewhere. We've restricted them and prevented them from doing so. Let them have a go. If they fail, they fail. We don't. They do. Let's just let them have a go. Let's not worry about what it's going to look like. Spending a shit like the NPL. Right?
Yeah, look, Nick, sorry to interrupt you. I wasn't trying to be negative. There are some positives. Obviously, we've seen the advertisement. Harry played it. We've actually published it on the Ball,
yes,
the Royal Game, just the wider community. I think the advertisement is fantastic. It's quite new. It's quite trendy. It is polished. And it is very, very good for the game in terms of like what they've done. And they put a lot of work into that. I love it. And I'm a marketing person. I really love that advertisement. I think it's going to help. And the other positive side is what you were saying before. I remember there was 36 submissions of all the clubs, the interest that generated right throughout the country, like just selecting the clubs that were going to be part of this competition. That actually gave us the top promotion because everybody was talking about it. Everybody was talking about positives and negatives. So I think that's a good thing for the game. I really do. And look, I really hope, Nick, that it takes off like a bomb, and then people follow it. People attend games.
Exactly. Carlos, you there?
Yeah, look, the other positive that not many people have spoken about this championship, it is for the development of many other coaches who will be able to test themselves against the very best and progress. So to me, it's a win-win for everyone. The players get a chance to play more games, put yourself in the window of look at me now and give me an A-League contract or overseas. But for the young coaches who toil away for next to nothing in these leagues, to take a team to the championship and beat some of the giants will be amazing for their development. And I look at the New South Wales Premier League, 6 games to go. We have Marconi on 52 points. They lost to St. George on 52 points. They lost to St. George on Saturday. Rockdale was on 49 points with a plus 30 goal difference. They were just like a whirlwind.
My God.
The wheels are falling off. They were second. They play Spirit FC, the team that has the smallest budget in the league because they are is an association funded team. They were third on 49 points, so this was much of the round. Spirit FC walloped Rockdale 6-3. Now this week it's Marconi against Spirit. With then 5 games to go. So it's given the opportunity to the Spirit FC coach who's now been there for 9 years and has just received a 5-year extension by the association. It's given the Perkovic of this world, the Peter Sakinis of Marconi, a chance to shine and show what they could do. And then maybe be on the shop window for the next break. We know that the A-League has limited coaching opportunities, but who knows? If a good project comes along, Peter Sakinis or Haliti at Olympic might be tempted to go overseas to try their luck. So I think it's a win-win for everyone. I think the fans will come because it's something new. It's something exotic. I mean, hey, I'm going to watch South Hobart. Who's South Hobart?
Oh, no,
assuming they win.
Very top team. A very top team.
Assuming they win the Tasmania Premier League.
Exactly, yes.
Right? Who is South Hobart?
Well,
and so to me, it's a win-win-win. But from a coach, the players will love it. They're on the shop window to secure perhaps a better move to a better club, bigger pay packet. The coaches are there saying, hey, look what I have done with a minuscule budget.
Exactly.
So it's a win-win for everyone. I'm looking forward to seeing the games, and it's just an excitement factor. So bring it on. There will be teething problems, no doubt. There will be mistakes made, but who hasn't made a mistake in their lives that we learn from it and we profited from?
Nick, Nick, what Carlos just said, actually, it gives the teams an opportunity to actually not just be champions of their competition, but to be able to play in this other competition. That's what it does. So when they finish, they're getting 2 prizes here, don't you? So if Marconi finish on top, is it the second team that actually gets in there? Is that because Marconi's already in there? So this is it gives them another opportunity rather than just finishing on top for a reason. Is that they've got the other reason too, and this is what they should be looking forward to when they play in their NPLs now.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
But also, look, Harry, the idea, the bigger idea, of course, is that a platform, competitions are platforms.
Yes.
So that, it depends who you're playing and what is a platform. And the NPL, and what started this process was that the NPL, as the second tier, as the nominal second tier in the Australian game, wasn't suited. It's not a proper second tier. That's where we started.
No, it's not.
And it's not a second tier for all sorts of reasons, not only for the top level clubs, but for the bottom level clubs within the NPL. Because the disparity is too wide. You can't have 100, let's say, just 100. I'm not even going to go to NPL 2s and 3s and 4s. No. But just if you've got NPLs across each state and you've got 10, 12, 14 teams and you've got 100 NPL teams, in no logical, again, there's no logic to saying that you can have a top tier of 10 or 12 or 13 teams in the A-League and an NPL of 100 teams. Just makes no sense, right? A second division, sorry, of 100 teams. Everybody recognised that. Everyone from the PFA to the FA eventually to most of the states, not all of them, I've got to say, but anyway, any football person would realise that's ridiculous, okay? So the idea was to say, stop that was a manufactured situation where we created, by putting a ceiling on what the top clubs could do and then pushing clubs below that into an NPL to compete at state level to make a first division, it created too many obligations on weaker clubs struggling to survive, right, to actually maintain a presence and a successful presence at NPL level. They'd rather be lower than that. And the top clubs are stuck. Right? The only division in this country to which you can't progress up to winning it is the current NPL. But you win it, you go nowhere. Whereas at least below that, you win it, you go into the NPL or into the BPL or whatever you call it in each state. At the NPL level, which is meant to be our second tier, you kill it. We kill it with a drop stone dead. So the idea was that we would create a platform, a higher national competition for the aspiring and stronger and much better suited clubs that would say, look, we're better suited to this comp. You mentioned before Sydney Olympic, you mentioned South Melbourne, you mentioned other clubs, and people have been telling me for years, and other media people come to me and say, oh, Nick, but look, South Melbourne only gets 300, 400 people to a game, or Sydney Olympic gets up beyond it. And the reason for in Adelaide City and Adelaide is, and the problem is these clubs, their DNA is not state-based second division.
That's right.
These are first division teams, and their supporters are used to them. That's what they've been playing for. That's what they've been constructed on. They're not suited to playing in a smaller regional comp with nowhere to go. That's not how they were conceived and developed. So that if you were to allow and to encourage those bigger clubs to participate on the national stage again, with hopefully a view to developing that competition so that it forms a bridge to the A-League, so that anyone who drops down later from the A-League into it was going to survive in that competition to come back into the A-League, and vice versa, a team then growing coming into the A-League. If you created that scenario, which was what was stated by FA in its policy documents and its aims, then you grow the game. You grow more clubs, and instead of having 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 Australian teams and a couple from New Zealand constituting our top division, you've got 20, 25 clubs in Australia over time, or more over time, but over 5-10 years, which has become stronger clubs in their regions. So we create a footprint in the game, which effectively soaks up all the support. Now, we had in this country the opposite idea, that we would take all the fans from all these clubs, take them away from where they are, from Olympic, from Sydney United, from Melbourne Knights, from South Melbourne and Preston and everyone else, take them away and funnel them to the A-League. Let's call a spade a spade. That's what it was about, right? And here we are. A few did. A few got funneled up because they want to go and watch First Division. Others didn't. Others got disaffected and bored. And we've just fractured the game. So you've got this scenario where the A-League is complaining about the other clubs not being united and supported.
Yep.
Whereas it was the one that's separate. It's the separate entity, right? So we just want to create a bit of unity. So everyone says,
Yep.
But I mean, so all that we try to do, and we're still trying to do, is create a sense of unity and continuity with the game.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if that means that we're not this top-level competition that competes for the bigger levels in the world, we know that, right? We're not going to be competing with those comps. You're not watching the Australian game to be watching top-level football. You can turn on your Stan Sport and watch your, whatever you're going to watch, whatever league you like. But at least you can follow a club and you can follow its journey. That's what we try to create. Now, I'm hoping that what we commence and what is commenced leads to that. Now, I've got my reservations about what's going on at the top level and the lack of support that I perceive for it, and I perceived for 2 or 3 years. That's as far as I'll go on that. But that was the idea that we tried to create. And if I think if people wanted to support it, clubs put their hands up to make it happen. And there's reasons why I think everyone should support that. So I don't want to go on and sort of regurgitate all that, guys. I've said really all I can say about it. And that's the philosophy and the ethos behind this competition.
And I just want to say to everyone out there listening tonight, please support your club in this competition because we want it to go further. We want it to go further. You want your clubs back where they used to be in the NSL. Okay, the NSL is over, but we want to bring your clubs back again and support your clubs. Get to those games because they're going to be during the summer as well. They're going to go through the summer, which means there's no excuses. It's too cold to go to the games. Is that right, Nick? Too cold to the games. We're going to be here with the top weather. You're going to be able to wear your supporter shirt there as well and everything. So let's fill these grounds up with this second tier competition, and we know where it's going to go eventually. And that's what I'll bring Angelo one more time before we let you go.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time. Do you have what it takes to become a soccer superstar? Look no further than Soccer Pro Academy. Led by experienced coaches, including a former Socceroo, the Academy provides world-class training to help you reach your full potential. From technical skills to tactical awareness, they'll help you develop the skills and mindset needed to succeed at the highest level. Soccer Pro Academy, where champions are made.
Are you looking for the perfect kit for your football club? Try Arrow Sport today. From jerseys to shorts to socks, Arrow Sport will have you completely covered. We can even cover your merchandising line, including hats, beanies, scarves, jumpers, and so much more. So if you're looking for excellent lead times, great pricing, and even better quality, try Arrow Sport today by looking at our website at arrowsport.com.au. And even better quality, try Arrow Sport today by looking at our website at arrowsport.com.au.
Looking for a haven to unwind and indulge? Look no further than Brista Cafe, nestled in the heart of Derrimut Village Shopping Centre. From decadent homemade gourmet cookies to scrumptious muffins, every bite is a delight. Everyone loves Brista Cafe, and you will too. So why wait? Visit Brista Cafe today and taste the difference for yourself.
Hi guys, Harry Sunday here, letting you know that there's a apparel company that supports the game that you love. It's called thereisonlyonefootball.com, guys. They've got all sorts of stuff, from caps, t-shirts, water bottles, all sorts of accessories, even for your mobile phone.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
Yeah, no, Nick, I think in Saudi Arabia, they've got a centralised marketing person, they use one person now. Before, when players were transferred over, you'd have to go through each club, and each club had a director of football. And the point I'm getting to is this, right? If the competition can have one person marketing the competition to attract commercial partners to give a hand to the clubs who don't or can't afford, obviously, full-time staff, and the FA, who runs this competition, can afford to have one person to promote, publicise, market, and just give it a bit more profile, okay? You may attract some sponsors, because my idea is that football, including the second division or the second tier competition, Nick, needs to be packaged with the television rights, which could bring back some money flowing back to the clubs, because television rights, it works in Italy. Obviously, in England, it's worth 8 billion. In Italy, it's worth very close to that. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about just, like some money flowing back to the clubs if it is packaged with the Socceroos, the Matildas, the A-League, and you can bring this competition in as well as a package to television, and they can get some kickback out of it. They may be able to give that viability,
Sorry, yes, I can't disagree with any of that. So, Harry, I can't have much more.
I'm going to read you something. I'm going to read you before you go, because this is a very big, and Angela's got an announcement as well. Angela's got an announcement. It says, big announcement, Football List is going TV. We're excited to announce the starting September the 4th, Football List will air every Thursday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Channel 31 Melbourne for a full 13-week season. Now listen to this one. We'll be covering NPL finals from Victoria, New South Wales, Queensland, South Australia, and more, plus introducing the brand new NSL Australian Championship. There you go, Nick. So somebody's putting their foot in it for TV stuff, and of course we want your stories. You're part of the community with a powerful, inspiring story. We want to feature you on the show. Don't hesitate to reach out, and it says here sponsorship opportunities. But at the end, let's make the game take the next level together. Football S, Channel 31, NPL Finals, NSL Australian Championship, community football, support a local competition, Football Australia, Soccer Australia, grassroots football. So we're doing all this, mate. We've got stories already coming into us. It's fantastic. So, mate, watch this space about the NSL Australian Championship, Nick. We've advertised it everywhere. There you go. Done.
Well, thanks, Harry. And that's why I'm on here and I go on various programs. Just support the people that support the game.
Exactly. That's what we're trying to do.
For me, that's what it's about. If you're supporting the game, everyone here supports the game. We want to support the game. We want stories. We want noise, visibility, and traction. Mate. So, anyway, thank you very much.
No worries, Nick. Thank you for coming on.
My voice is almost gone.
I know. Thank you, Nick. We'll talk to you soon again. Before the season starts, we'll get you on. No problem.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Nick. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. And, of course, we hang on. Of course, Football List crew hangs on now to talk about Angelo's project as well, which is the football... I've lost it, mate. Tonight's one of those nights where we're so busy. Okay. On the ball tonight, Harry. On the ball, and Football List is going to be working together, of course, to doing some things together. So there you go, Angelo, go for it.
On the ball, which is the World Game, and of course that comes off On the Ball Live, which is owned by Harry Michaels, and the television show that was on SBS on a weekly basis. Hosted by Andy Pascalides and Kyle Patterson, and Fozzie was on there, John Warren, and of course the late Les Murray. And what we're doing is actually driving a Facebook page and trying to achieve 1,000 friends and subscribers. And right now, it sits at 984. So the time that I checked about an hour ago, it was -6 to reach the 1,000. But the reason why we want to get to 1,000 is because we want to monetize it and get it on YouTube, and then of course create a weekly football show that goes around the nation and across to Asia and the world. So this is the main goal. It is not a dream. Things are happening. And one thing I want to say, Harry, I want to thank firstly Carlos, because I got him on the screen, but also because he was very, very helpful. I want to thank a lot of people right around Australia, including soccer clubs, football clubs in Adelaide, Melbourne and Sydney, that we actually contacted, and they've been so helpful. The support we've received, Harry, has been absolutely extraordinary. And the reason I say this is I want to say that once football unites with anything we do, if soccer, football community, the fraternity, the communities unite, we can achieve great things. And it's not just it's not just a way of saying things. I've seen it. I mean, we had something like 628 members, and today we have 996.
No, it's building.
I mean, it's just been absolutely tremendous. I want to thank everybody, yourself included, Harry, for connecting with other people, to come on board for this great project, and also, of course, Harry Michaels, who creates this initiative. It's his project, and I'm just supporting it, just driving it. So thank you very much.
And of course, Carlos, you're going to be involved in both probably. So there you go. We're going to be doing a few little things with Angelo and on the ball, whatever. But of course, we've got, as I said, the amount of things that I've had to do in the last few weeks is basically get one of these shows together that we did last year at, of course, at not the one that we just did this year, Carlos. We had the one before, which was actually good, and we had Tony Goodwin there and talking about Craig, of course, playing in the Socceroos and his journey, and that's what we want to show the community clubs, and that's part of it where Brunswick City come into this, which is fantastic. They've helped us a lot. We've got to do something in a few weeks' time at Brunswick City, a small supplementary, probably maybe 10 to 15 minute show before we add that part to that show, and that's our first show on Channel 31, Carlos. There you go. So yeah, we're pushing forward, Carlos.
Look, I'm very excited for you because you have worked so hard,
mate.
to write these admissions, to convince the people who have the power to give you a slot. So you have worked extremely hard over the last 2 years to make your dream a reality, which is to take Footballers to the next level on community TV, and Aurora TV didn't come through, but you worked really hard. So congratulations to you, because all the hard work and tenacity, because you kept hitting brick walls, but you just kept going at it till you crushed through the glass wall. So well done to you.
Well, Angelo,
it's a
help with sponsors, which was fantastic, because that little sponsor that I do have, mate, the things I've been able to do with him, and I've spoken to Paul, that his advertising will be going up every week on the show as well, which it does, straight on YouTube, and that's what we're doing. So as soon as I finish here, I'm up to about 6 o'clock in the morning trying to get his commercials up and everything. So was it Joe Italiano said one day, Joe Italiano from Perth said, Harry never sleeps, he keeps working up. Mate, the amount of coffee, the amount of coffees, the lattes, and I don't have lattes, black coffees, that's it, mate, that's about it. So that's the thing. So it's a lot of work.
Having said that, I look forward to contributing to the show in the best way that I can. I look forward to working with Harry and Harry Michaels and everyone else. I'm more than happy to be invited to contribute to a show and do my bit for the game that I love. And I think there's too many doomsayers in our game.
Too many.
that it appears to be contagious at the moment, and somehow we need to show them that we have the strength and the resilience to overcome whatever obstacles are thrown our way. And football has gone through hell and back, COVID, this and that, and last year's, the A-League season that just finished. If you remember the doomsday at the beginning of the season, the club lost $700,000. Is the end of the world. Guess what? The youngsters came through.
Yes.
We had we have the highest goals in any league in the world. Yes, experienced people like Jamie McLaren took the money and run and went to India. Why wouldn't they take the money and run and cash in on a lucrative contract? But the youngsters, they were given a chance. And Melbourne City, at one stage, it was like kindergarten, first grade. There was no one over 20.
Exactly.
So I think football has shown that we're resilient. We will overcome the obstacles, and the youngsters will come through. And what's missing in the Australian market, which needs to come, and it's been talked about and there are discussions, forget about one federation ruling the roost. It is the domestic transfer system. Like Adam Pace highlighted the inequity of not having a transfer system where Sydney Olympic sells a player to Melbourne Knights, and 98% of the clubs in the world will get $10,000, whatever. We don't. We have this archaic system that we need for the benefit of the game and the benefit of the clubs needs to come sooner than later. There have to be perhaps a tier system. If you are under 20, you don't want to be priced out of the market. If you're an international player, perhaps you have a premium on your head. But we need to have this transfer system into play domestically, so every club from MPL4 who sells a player to Melbourne Knights, we all benefit.
Now, Angelo, when do you think the on the ball will start? What do you think at what time of the year, and when do you think you have a starting date?
Well, look, right now, the important part is to actually start on YouTube and transfer all of the information, all of the breaking news, and going back to Rally Rassage as well. All of that stuff that we did, Harry commenced doing, with a legacy of football, all of that stuff. We've got so many highlights and so many good things that can be actually positioned on YouTube. And this will be the next step. Once we're comfortable with what's happening there and how we sort of keep feeding information on YouTube, we can then have a definite date. But look, it won't be too long. I think Harry has got some great meetings coming up this week, which I can't mention. He's going to be meeting with some very, very high-profile people, and the fact of the matter is that we want to have a weekly football show. We were thinking some like a Thursday night, because you can actually report all of the Champions League and all the results from right around the globe.
Yes.
The big game. And then, of course, on the Thursday, you're in the box seat to talk about the up-and-coming games, like A-League or Matildas and Socceroos and so on and so on and so on. So, look, that's just a thought at the moment. But then we've got a person that's actually sampling the people. And once we get that, we'll have the correct night. But that is the sort of show that'll bring in everybody. Like Carlos mentioned before, that's exciting. That he's going to be part of it, yourself, and all of the football community. For example, with this target of 1,000, I contacted the soccer clubs, the football clubs in Adelaide, Melbourne, Amateur League. Right around the globe, all of the people that I know, and everybody. It only took a minute to be part of it. It was like
click.
Yeah, just a click.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, just a click. Yeah, Carlos. Yeah, but what really pleasantly surprised me is how quick people responded to something like that. Go on, Colin.
And I think many of us have fond memories of the program On the Ball.
Yes.
So that has a nostalgic factor to it, because we remember many, many years ago, there was only one football show, the World Game, to begin with, for 1 hour on Saturday, 5 to 6, nothing else. And much of the day on Monday night. Mm-hmm. And then On the Ball came, and then Captain Socceroo and all the other offshoots. So a lot of people like me and showing my age, no doubt, have fond memories of the show. So the name resonates with people from the older generation. So we need to bring the under 30 generation on board as well to show them the history of football and what football is all about, which is excitement plus entertainment.
I just want to...
I think Carlos, quickly, Carlos, you hit some really excellent points in terms of, like the 1 hour. But the 1 hour package really rocked, and it was full of information right around the globe. Breaking news from England, from Italy. Andrew Orsatti was a member as well. Doing the journalism, and I think that if we can actually concentrate on that 1 hour to 60 minutes, and perhaps it's only 55 minutes or 50 with the ads and that, but it can really be packaged right, and then make it so good that people look forward to seeing it the following week. And that's what we've got to get into, to the habit,
That's right.
In today's fast-paced business world, reliable logistics is key to success. That's where PC and FS Logistics come in. With a comprehensive range of services including air, sea and domestic transport, as well as secure warehousing, we've got your supply chain covered. From origin destination, our expert team ensures your goods are handled with care and delivered on time, every time.
Now, let me just say one thing about this also is that I have a story in the next few weeks, which is very important. This is
a story.
Massive story. I tell you what, the amount of stories are
massive. Not a story.
No, this
massive.
This is for any kid thinking of going overseas to a inconspicuous. Can't call it an inconspicuous country, Carlos and Angelo. I can't call it that because it is a massive football country. But I'm sure that Carlos was there you were there last year, weren't you? You were there last year, of course. Where were you last year?
Where?
Argentina?
I was in New Zealand last year. The year before, I went to... I sent you postcards from Taiwan. Did you guys
I got it there. Let me read this to you.
Yeah.
Didn't you go to Hungary, Carlos?
Huh?
Didn't you go to Hungary as well?
No. I went this year. I went to Taiwan. Last year I went to New Zealand. The year before I went to Uruguay and Argentina with my son. So I haven't been to Hungary. No. So it's on the bucket list.
Uruguay. Sorry, I'm making a mistake. I think it was
Uruguay and Argentina. And 2 years ago, for my 60th birthday, I took my son who turned 30.
Disgusting.
So, and most people got a postcard from me. I've actually enjoyed sitting down, and I wrote about 30 postcards because I just love writing. And the people that value the friendship, they get a postcard from me at random, and I'm sure you got one.
I got one.
From Taiwan.
I got one.
Posted in the Philippines, by the way. And you got one, Harry. You're a good boy, Harry. All right?
I got one. I got to mention to you guys. This is massive. This is Australia to Argentina, rising stars of the global game, and of course, each of their own path in their journey. 3 elite footballers on one bold vision, and of course, these boys. There's 3 boys playing in Argentina, and they've actually got professional contracts. I can't believe this. So these kids...
Yeah, I love that.
And of course, these kids, one of the names is Massimo Shulazuski, and I spoke to one of them yesterday, and then we've got also Tom Manuel, and of course, there's another boy there too, Sammy Barry. Now, these boys actually they've got professional contracts in Argentina, And it's really funny that these boys have missed out in this country, and they're all from Western Australia, Carlos and Angelo. So this story will be put on in the next few weeks. I'll be actually contacting them. I've contacted yesterday. Tom Manuel. I spoke to Argentina last night. Carlos, here you go. And I actually spoke to Angelo. I spoke to Angelo as well in Italy. So in one night I did two calls. So these stories are amazing.
Look, congratulations to these three boys, because they all obviously have exceptional talent, and exceptional work ethic. Because I always tell the story when I came to Sydney in 1977 and went to enroll at high school in the beginning of the year. An interpreter came and told me which subjects to choose, and they were to choose sport, summer sport. Now I'm saying, where's football? No, we don't play football in the summer. It's too hot. I said, no, we play football every day in Uruguay. Never mind the heat. So there's softball, cricket, baseball. I never heard of anything. And I said, what about European handball? Because that's big in South America. No. So the only sport that I could relate to, and I couldn't play it very well, was water polo. I said football in the water. Mm-hmm. So for these boys to earn a contract in Argentina shows exceptional talent and work ethic, because anyone in South America plays football every day for hours on end, right? Because it's a way out of poverty. Look at Suarez, look at Cavani, look at Nunez, look at Pele. Well, another generation. Money wasn't there for Pele, but so well done to those three boys. One is a language barrier. Two, it is a jealousy that generates when three, as we call them, stranieri or canguros come along and take my place. So well done to the three boys. Hopefully we'll get them on the show and get some life lessons. And I think Australian boys have it too easy. They don't have to work hard for anything. And if literally everything is given to them, they have never witnessed extreme poverty, where you didn't have food on the table, so to speak.
This is where
because we are a lucky country.
Exactly. This is where, Angelo, we lose our kids because we don't give them opportunities here anymore. And this is where this competition that's coming on the 10th, of course, the NSL Australian Championship, will give kids the opportunity to play in something over here so people will see them. We didn't have that. We don't have that. So if anybody has got stories as well that they're overseas and they're listening to us overseas now, if they want to give us more stories, we're very happy to do it, because you got a lot of kids overseas, Angelo, as well. But now the market is they're all going to South America, and I do remember we did have a boy on here, one boy that we did have, Carlos, we had him, he was in Argentina, we had him on last year or the year before, and he spoke to us about his journey as well. So he was a Lucanero or something, I remember his name, and he was in Argentina, and also we had one of the A-League players who went to Argentina, came back to the A-League, a better player too, and he's doing podcasts as well, of course. So Rashid Mahazi played in Argentina. He came over back to Ange Postecoglou he saw him, grabbed him, and put him and he became a big name in the A-League. And when he also went over to play in Korea as well. So there's opportunities. You become a better player overseas, going there for a year or two, come back. Exactly. You see, Angelo?
Look, it's also about having luck, because you could go for a trial match and everything you try goes wrong. If you're a goalkeeper, and then you can judge on that match because everything you try went south. So it's also a combination of factors. Staying injury-free, that's number one. Because an ACL injury, you become yesterday's hero. No one knows you in 12 months. So these boys, obviously, exceptional talent. When they went and showcased themselves, everything they did, everything went right for them. So well done. Exactly. Because you got to seize the moment. You got to grab the opportunity and hope that everything around you works around you. Because, trial matches are a double-edged sword. You could do really well. You don't do well, you get cast aside. And I'm sure these boys will have tried out for South Melbourne, Melbourne City.
Oh, yes,
but on that
yes,
day,
yes.
or in the 3 weeks they were training, that just for whatever reason, family, girlfriend issues, whatever, they just did not perform at their best.
Exactly.
And they got discarded because the coach makes the call, because today I have to submit my 18 chosen players and the 3 goalkeepers. And I got 25. You rolled the dice and said, no, Johnny goes out because, he's good. He didn't shine. So it is what it is. It's luck of the draw at times. And,
And Angelo, you're in Italy, of course. To everyone out there who knows the name Christian Volpato, who had the opportunity to actually to play for Australia, who now is actually not going to play for Australia. Is that right, Angie? He doesn't want to play for Australia after what happened to him down here. He came over there. Mourinho was actually coaching him too, wasn't he? Which means, my God, how's that work? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Now, that's right. Christian Volpato, he's now already played for Italy under 21.
Yes.
Okay, they grabbed him. Italy grabbed him. So there's no way he's going to go back and play for Australia. And
he could switch allegiance. He could switch allegiance because he hasn't played senior football. Gattuso needs to give him 3 minutes at least in a World Cup qualifier if he wants to lock in Volpato for the Azzurri. So he could switch allegiance if he chooses, unless he plays at least 2 minutes as a substitute in the 92nd minute of extra time in the World Cup. You have to be an official World Cup qualifier, not a friendly.
Yes, very good, Carlos. That's exactly right. The other one that was Alessandro Cercati, or Cercati, as you guys mentioned, that played at Parma. He chose Australia. So he debuted for Australia, and he's a very, very good player. Now, I've got some news for you guys. There is a kid called Max Anastasio who's played for the Jollies already for Australia. He was at Venezia. Okay, Venezia, well, obviously they played in Serie A, now they're back in Serie B. But this kid, fresh from the breaking news, has been transferred to Bologna.
Gee,
wow. This is a kid that's 17. He developed at Marconi. Okay, this is only fresh. You guys can read on it. He's actually transferred to Bologna, which is a fantastic club. It's been one of the revelations of the last 2 years. They played in the Champions League last year, Bologna, and they've produced some fantastic young players. The other one that you guys ought to remember is a kid called Arena, Arena, that developed at Pescara for the last couple of years. He's transferred to Roma.
Gee.
Now, I'm glad you guys talked about these young kids, going to Argentina, but there's three kids that developed in Australia. Arena, of course, is from Sydney. Anastasio also, and Ciccati's from Perth, obviously, and Volpato we talked about. But these are three Italian kids, and of course, not forgetting the kid from Wollongong. That recently went to Parma. Obviously, he feels at home now with Alessandro. But look, you guys mentioned it. Do we have the right ambience?
We don't.
In Australia,
we don't,
to develop these kids.
We don't.
And why? The question is this, Carlos: Why are these kids slipping through the cracks and not playing in the A-League first?
Carlos.
The answer to that is we had a very small A-League, which began with 8 teams, and then it grew to where we have today. So there's limited spaces in the roster. We also do not have a proper youth league. We now have the NPL teams. They're the feeder clubs to the A-League teams. And it is the size of the competition that limits the number of opportunities that kids and coaches can have. And until we have a bigger competition, so 18, 20 teams, which gives you a roster of 18 players plus 3 goalkeepers, and maybe a reserve side. The reserve side for the A-League clubs is the NPL clubs, which is great under 23 development. that will continue. That player drain will continue to take place because we don't have the slot or the places available at the highest level because we have a smaller club. And may I also add, and I'm going to be controversial here, some of their selections are also a bit political. Not always the best.
I've had
not always the best player. Not always the best player chosen. You need to know someone. Obviously, the people who get chosen have quality and quality. However, sometimes it helps to know someone somewhere to give you a head start and a good word.
And I've spoken to some people, and it's not what you know, it's who you know. The old story. We don't have the facilities or the teams to be able to showcase these kids and give them. And of course, we lost the AUST, the academy. Of course, we lost it. They were all going there. They had their own. They were playing in the NSL. Of course, they had a team playing in the NSL. Carlos, if you remember that time.
Yeah, and we're also a very young country.
Exactly.
We don't have clubs with tradition like Roma, Sheffield Wednesday, Derby County, one of the oldest clubs in the world. So we're a new country. We're building on new traditions. Adelaide United, new country, new club, 25 years in the making. So it's very fresh in their minds. I mean, if I was a young kid playing at Roma, like you said, that young boy, I would be delighted to have the godfather of Italian football taking me aside and said, "Come on, Bambino, come with me. Mangiare come with me. Let's have dinner." Because there will be an amazing experience to share a football chat and a lunch with Claudio Ranieri. Because he just, to me, is the godfather of football and said, "Come on, ragazzo, come with me. Let me show you. Let me give you a foot." And that would be awesome. I'm just getting goosebumps, that thought of the young boy being pulled aside by Claudio. So you're doing really well, but let's go and have a coffee or let's have lunch at my place. My senora, my moglie will cook dinner for us and let's talk about football and let me share my experience because it'd be amazing to have Claudio as one of the people overlooking your development.
And I'll tell you there's someone... Go on, Angela.
John, I was just going to say, interesting to speak about Ranieri. When you speak about Ranieri, I think a lot of people get goosebumps because he's been devoted purely to football. He hasn't thought of money. He was approached by Saudi Arabia. The league, he totally refused that. But he's just such a loyal person, and I've met him. I've met him twice already. He's so humble. He, went into this hotel. He was sitting there on the computer, checking out his information. All the players were around him, just sitting around in the lounge. And, I went up to him and I was like about 2 meters away and I said, Signor Ranieri, I asked him if he could have a photo, he could have a chat. And he said, give me 5 minutes. And sure enough, 5 minutes later, he came over straight to me. And he was like, absolutely, I was like, I went all red, but it was embarrassment. But I'll never forget that because he being so busy, he came over and spent 5-10 minutes with me talking about his journey and he's so assertive as well. He just said, look, I've got to go in a couple of minutes. So he's warning me, if you've got any other questions, I've got 2 minutes. But look, I just want to say one thing, Carlos. You just reminded me of one other thing. There's Casio. You might remember the name Casio that played for Adelaide United.
Yes. That's right, his son,
Yes.
Yeah, and his son plays now. But, he runs an academy and once a year, he takes the whole group to Spain. Okay? Now, I'm saying this because what you were saying, Carlos, the league is very young, but there's one thing, we've made a big mistake, and that's like FA or whoever made that decision to get rid of AIS.
Oh.
Because in that AIS, we had fantastic players oozing out of that system and going straight into the A-League.
The Golden
and the coaches. And the coaches to go with it.
Oh.
Yes, and the coaches, Ron Smith, with the goalkeepers and all that sort of stuff. You know, the people that came out of there, like Mark Koski, Mark Viduka, you know, like Stan Lazaridis, and so on and so on and so on. You could just, you know, like there's a plethora of players, you know, like that came out of there, and they went, graduated through the A-League, and then, of course, in the A-League, they were picked up in England, Germany, Italy.
That's where...
Because we saw Vince Grella, Marco Bresciano starring in Italy, John Aloisi. He was only 15 when he debuted at Adelaide City. I mean, you know, if there's one thing that I would like return, Carlos, is that is the AIS.
Angelo,
and the other thing that the demise of the AIS brought was this growth in these private football academies that are totally unregulated, selling a dream
that don't work.
That at times they're not given. You know, I mean, they're great academies, and there's too many of those, in my view, which are unregulated by FA. There should be a licensing system. There should be key performance indicators that you do A, B, C to obtain a license. At the moment, anyone could set up a football academy, register a name, and teach the basic and make some money. To me, that's another issue for another day. I mean, I have no doubt that Cassius, like Joe Espiteri, they are the best of the best academies. But there are many academies selling a dream that are not worth what they're charging. Each parent.
I just want to get. We're just about to finish, boys. Just about to finish. I just wanted to bring on to say that Mark Tanti from Parramatta Melita Eagles was coming on, but he had some kind of problem that he had to get away to. I'm sorry for him not coming on, but there's a massive issue at Parramatta Melita Eagles. We're talking about a club here that, my God, mate, Peter Catholis, Jerry Gomez, Marshall Soper, Joey Spiteri,
Rob Blanco.
These big names that came from that club, and there's only one. They've lost their ground. They've lost their stadium. They're still together in some little league that they're playing in a senior league in there in New South Wales. But the thing is, they've got no ground. They've taken everything off them. And we would love to bring him on next week to talk to us about what the situation or the shituation, as I usually call it. But that's the problem. Next week we hope to get him on. Of course, there is something we want to talk about to everyone here next week as well. Trying to get this guy who's organised a youth league. Absolutely, a national youth league in Australia, a private one. Let me see if I can bring this gentleman on next week. So there's something, Carlos and Angela, about a private youth league to play in Australia. It's amazing.
Yeah, well, Harry, I honestly think if it's not affiliated with the federation,
that's the problem.
And not affiliated with FIFA, it's going to be a huge problem. Look, I applaud whoever's thinking about maybe trying to develop youngsters like Carlos was saying before, but if it's not affiliated with the federations or associated with FIFA, I think it's a big problem.
I'll find out about this next week. Anyway, boys, thank you for joining me tonight. Of course, don't forget next week, guys, Carlos has got to have his dinner, of course. Angelo's going for lunch or something, is that right? Whatever, in Italy. But don't forget, Football Less is live next week. And don't forget, on the 4th of September, Football Less is live. Of course, we're going to be on live from Channel 31 in Melbourne, guys, from 6 to 5 p.m. Anyway, don't forget, guys, next week, Football Less is back on again. Thank you, your boys, for joining me around Australia. Everyone, good night, everyone. Thank you for joining me. Here we go. Don't forget, guys, Football Less is live one more time next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. We've got a lot of special guests again next week, too. That youth league, want to talk about that, too. Check it out. Felix. Check it out, guys. Don't forget, go to your games this weekend. Who cares the weather? The cup of life, this is the one. Now is the time, don't ever stop. We should have known, gotta be strong. We should have known, right from the top. And when you feel the heat, the world is at your feet. No one can hold you back if you really want it. I see it in your eyes, you want the cup of life. Not the days, here you're gonna get it. Do you really want it? Love you guys, Football Less next week. Get out to your games this weekend. Who cares if it's cold? Support your clubs. They need help during the winter. See you next week on Football Less next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Thank you. Hup, hup.